Guys, welcome to the second part of our tutorial. So we were creating a chat application in API Gateway of AWS using WebSockets. So let's get started with another tutorial. So what we will be doing today is we are creating another Lambda function for sending the message from one user to another, and we will also receive the message on the other side. So to start with, we need to create a new Lambda function. I'll go to AWS console from scratch. Name would be YouTube underscore send message. We are using Python here 3.7, and the execution role, I have already created some execution role here, so I'll be using that. Okay. Okay, so we can use this. We'll create a function here with Python 3.7 runtime, and we are done. Now I'll go to my Visual Studio Code. So this time I'll not be coding right in the portal of Lambda function, because I need some different libraries here which are not available in the Lambda. So I'll code it here, and then we'll see how we can create a zip file of our Python environment and how we can push it to the AWS Lambda. So I'll start with some import statements here. We will be using uh, Boto 3 for interacting with the DynamoDB database. I'll be using datetime. We'll also import all these into our Python environment. So this is a new library that we will be using. So if you want to communicate with AWS console, you need the authorization first. So this library will help us. Request we will be using for doing the HTTP calls. This we are importing for doing CRUD operations in DynamoDB. Okay, and last one is OS, which we will be using for getting the access key and access secret of AWS from Lambda environment variable. So let's get started by writing a method. So this will be our function name. The parameters will be exactly same what we have in the Lambda function when we used to code there. So in last tutorial we saw for connect and for disconnect Lambda function we used the Lambda function console only for writing the code, but this time we are doing it like this. Event, we will be getting the body from the Lambda proxy, and receiver ID. So the user will be sending some message to the user ID rather than the connection ID. So we want to make it more flexible here. So the receiver ID will be in the body. Now we need to get the message from the JSON payload. So the message will be also in body. We will send it in this key, and we can also write message date time. So message date time we can use to store it in DynamoDB or for any purpose. Now I am creating a context of DynamoDB. Go to 3.resource. DynamoDB, and table name would be online connection. So in the last tutorial we saw we were storing the connection IDs and the username in the online connection DB. So we will be using the same here. Dot scan, we will be scanning it. Filter expression would be the key of user ID, because we were storing the user like this. So if it is equal to the receiver ID, so if it is equal to the receiver ID, we have to get the connection ID, and we will check if the user is already online or the user is offline. So this is just a condition. If the length of items is equal to 1, then receiver connection ID would be, we will get it from the DB, so it's result u items. So it will always be on the 0th index. So I'm not putting conditions as of now. If you want, you can put it. So this is the receiver connection ID. We got it from DB. And what next? We have to get the token for the current user also. So DynamoDB connections dot similar scan, filter expression will be the key, will be the token this time. So the token, if the token is equal to connection ID, which is the current connection ID which the user is trying to send the message, then we will get the user name from the DB. So when the receiver receives the message, the receiver should know that from which user this message is coming. So similar validations we are using here. If it is the length of items is equal to 1, which will be the ideal case, so the sender ID we will get. So sender ID would be result x items 0th index and user ID. Yeah, that's all. Now we have the sender ID, we have the receiver ID, we have receiver connection ID. Now we will create the JSON payload which we will be sending. So JSON object to send, this will be sent to the user. What it will have is, it will have message, maybe ID, which will be which can be message date time. What else we can send? We can send the actual message, which will be msg, and we will also send who has sent this message, which will be sender ID. Okay, so this is all. Now we will just put some validations here. Else let's return something here. Return, so this will be the standard way of returning response. Body would be, okay, sorry, yeah, so body would be data. Okay, I think if it is not available, then there will be some error occurred. Okay, we will send as 200 response, else if the user is not online, so user not online, and if everything goes well, we will say message is delivered. Okay, so now we have to create a method for sending this JSON payload which we just have created. So let's create that method. So it will be send direct message. This will receive the token to the user whom we are sending, the token of that user and the JSON payload. So now to start with this method, we need some access key and access secret of AWS environment. You can get it from the IAM management console. So if you log into this, just below the password here you get access keys. You can click on this and you can get your access key and access secret access key. Make sure you create your new IAM role for this. Do not use the access key for the admin. That is recommendable, but anyways you can use it. So secret key would be, so we are going to store our access key and access secret in the AWS Lambda function. I'll show you where to do that. So this is the method which you have just created, Lambda function. So here is the option for environment variables. So you can click on manage environment variables, add this, and access key would be something and secret key would be something, and then you can just click on save. So these values you can get it from the IAM management console, and then you can see it here like this, and we are also using the same. So this we will use to access our AWS endpoints. You will just see how we will do it. So I am creating an object of request auth here. AWS access key would be access key, and AWS secret access key would be your secret key, and AWS host would be, this will be your host. We have to get it from API Gateway. So just go to stages, dev, and get it from here. So you just have to copy till here. It will be like this. Now some more parameters. AWS region would be, it will be, we are using East, US East 1, and AWS service, that this is also important. Service would be execute API, because we are calling one API. So we will be calling this API. So this connection URL can be used to send the messages from one user to another, and this is for the connection. So this connection URL we will just use. So we are executing a AWS API. So this is our object now. Let's go ahead and define the URL. So the URL will be this. I'll paste it here. So just make sure some important things here. You will not be able to get it online anywhere. So I am telling you this @ will be replaced by %40. We are just encoding it. Make sure you do it like this only, because if you use any library for encoding the URL, you'll fail. So you'll not be able to execute that. So just make it as it is, how I have written it. So we will have to append token also here. Token is this one. So token dot replace, we will replace the, so there is a equal to at the end of the token. So okay, so we will replace that, and we will append our string with %3d, which is equal to encoded format. So now is our HTTP request. So requests library we are using dot post. We will be making a post call where to the URL, and auth will be the auth object which we just have created, and data would be our JSON object. So just make sure you always send this in string, because socket doesn't accept JSON objects. So now you will get the response. So you can also print it if you want. That will be req.text. You will get some string here. If you want the status code, you can write it as request.status code. You can also get that. So now we are done. We just need to use this method here, and token will be of the receiver connection ID, and object will be JSON object to send, and we are done. So now what we have to do is we will create a new Python environment. So Python 3 virtual environment will create by the name of env. So we got it here. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, it is done. So now we will activate this. Now we have entered the Python environment. Now we have to install some dependencies. So first one will be the request. Because of this library only we have created this library. Okay, it will take some time to install. Okay, it is done. Now we will install boto3 using pip command. Okay, it is also done. Now what we have to do, just note down the steps that we will be doing here. We will be creating a zip file. So how to create a zip file? You have to go to, one second. So you have to go to the lib site packages, and we will paste here our lambda.py. Okay, so we will go to lib python 3.7 site packages and paste it here. Okay, so now this folder will create a zip. How to create a zip? If you are using Mac operating system, so you will write here zip -r lamb.zip and a dot to create zip of all the files and folders available in that. Okay, so we will get a lamb.zip. It will take a while. Okay, so this lamb.zip is available here. Now what we have to do, we will open our yt_send lambda function. We will write it we will select the option of upload a zip file. Runtime will be same, and handler we will change, because handler we have app lambda. Okay, app lambda will be the method name, and file name will be lambda.py. So lambda.py. Okay, so now we will upload our function package. It will be somewhere here. I'll click on save. Now this will take some time to upload. So till the time it gets uploaded, I'll tell you to mention these values carefully, because if these are not okay, your function will give you some errors. So I'll take a pause here. So once this is uploaded, we'll resume. So our lambda function is uploaded. Now I hope you have configured your environment variables here. So let's go ahead and create a root here. The root action will be send message, and we have to connect this with our Lambda function which we just created, yt underscore send message. I will save it. And we also have to add the integration response, because we want to see the response if the message is delivered or not. So once this is done, you just have to deploy your API. Okay, this is done. Now I will connect. So this is our socket URL. User ID is Sanchit here, and I will have another user with the name of user ID as Ankit. Both the users are connected. I'll just quickly go to DynamoDB and check both the users exist here. Now let's start creating a method, the JSON object here. So the message would be hello. The receiver ID would be Ankit, and that's all. I just need to mention the action here. Action is send message, what we have configured in the API gateway root. This is the action. Once I click enter, see the message is received here. Similarly, if I paste it here and the receiver ID, I'll rename it to Sanchit. Here is the message. So this is how the whole concept of WebSockets work. I just need to tell you one more thing here. If this host, AWS host, doesn't work like this, you just remove HTTPS and now try it. So ideally this should work. Okay, so we are done. I think we are done. The whole WebSockets is working. You are able to send and receive message. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, subscribe my channel, and please like this video. Thank you. Thanks a lot.